Have you ever realized your relationship was over, not during a fight, not during a tragedy, but because of an appetizer, specifically a seafood tower that cost $120? There is a specific kind of loneliness that hits you when you are sitting at a table with two other people who are laughing at an inside joke you don't understand while you are doing mental math on if your credit card limit can handle their good time. Last Saturday was my 2-year anniversary. It was supposed to be romantic. Instead, I ended up paying $65 for a side salad and a valuable life lesson. I left my girlfriend and her best friend at the table with a $500 bill, blocked her number, and by the time she got back to my apartment, her bags were already waiting in the hallway. Am I the jerk? Let's look at the receipts. Let's rewind. I'm Mike, 28, and my girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, is Sarah, 26. We've been living together for about 8 months in an apartment that is technically in my name. That detail becomes important later. Our relationship was good, or so I thought. But there was always Kyle. You know Kyle. Every relationship has a Kyle. The guy she knew from college or her first internship. The guy she swears is like a brother. Kyle had been working in London for the last year. I'd never met him, but I heard about him constantly. Kyle would love this movie. Kyle makes the best old-fashioned. So, the morning of our anniversary, Sarah comes into the kitchen with puppy dog eyes. She says, "Babe, you're not going to believe this. Kyle is in town for a layover just for tonight. He's flying to LA tomorrow. He's super depressed about his breakup and doesn't know anyone here. I can't just leave him alone in a hotel room." I froze. I had reservations at the Obsidian, one of those steakhouses where the waiters wear white gloves and you can't pronounce half the menu. I said, "Sarah, it's our anniversary. I spent weeks planning this." And then came the gaslighting. "Wow," she said, "I didn't realize you were so insecure. He's my best friend. If the roles were reversed, I'd invite your friend in a heartbeat. Don't be that toxic, controlling guy, Mike. It's just dinner." I didn't want to be that guy. I wanted to be the cool boyfriend, the secure boyfriend. So I said yes, and that was the moment I signed the death warrant for our relationship. We get to the restaurant. Kyle is already there, and he's not some sad, depressed guy going through a breakup. He's loud, he's wearing a suit that costs more than my car, and he's already drinking a martini. He stands up, hugs Sarah like a long hug, lifting her off the ground, and then gives me the limpest handshake in history. "So, you're the famous Mike," he says with a smirk that says he's not impressed. We sit down. The waiter comes over. I'm about to order a bottle of wine I had researched, something nice, around $80. Kyle cuts me off. "Actually, bring us the Kymus, the special selection. We're celebrating, right?" The waiter looks at me. I hesitate. Sarah kicks me under the table and smiles at Kyle. "Great choice." That bottle was $240. For the next hour, I ceased to exist. They talked about people I didn't know. "Did you hear about Jessica? Oh my God, remember that trip to Cabo? Remember when we got locked out of the dorm?" At one point, Kyle reached over and grabbed a piece of bread from Sarah's plate, and she wiped a crumb off his lip. It was intimate. It was comfortable. I was sitting there in my suit, sipping the wine I was paying for, watching my girlfriend on a date with another man. I tried to jump in. "So, Kyle, what do you do in London?" He looked at me like I was a waiter interrupting a conversation. "Finance," he said. Then he turned back to Sarah. "Anyway, you have to come visit. I have a guest room with a view of the Thames." A guest room. Right. Then came the food. I ordered the roasted chicken, Sarah got salmon, Kyle ordered the surf and turf, lobster tail and filet mignon, and a round of espresso martinis for dessert. When the check came, the waiter placed it directly in front of me. I looked at it. $560. With tip, we are looking at nearly $700. The table went silent. Kyle was checking his watch, Sarah was checking her makeup and her phone camera. Nobody reached for a wallet. In the US, there's this unspoken rule that on an anniversary, the boyfriend pays. But there's also a rule that you don't bring a third person who orders lobster on someone else's tab. Something snapped in my brain. The nice guy died right there in that booth. I pulled out my phone and opened the calculator app. I did the math. My chicken, $32. My 2 glasses of wine, prorated from the bottle, $40. My share of the tax and tip. I took out $100 cash. I put it on the table. I stood up. Sarah looked up, confused. "Where are you going? The valet is out back." I looked at her, then I looked at Kyle. "I'm covering my share," I said calmly. "Since you guys are celebrating old times and future trips to London, I figure Kyle's got this. He works in finance, right?" Sarah's face went pale. "Mike, stop joking. Put your card down." "I'm not joking," I said. "Happy anniversary, Sarah. Enjoy the rest of the night." I walked out. I didn't run. I didn't make a scene. I walked past the host stand, got into my car, and drove away. My phone started buzzing before I even left the parking lot. I knew I had about 45 minutes. See, here's the reality of the situation. Sarah is a barista. She makes okay money, but she doesn't have $500 disposable income for a Tuesday night dinner. Kyle? Maybe he has money. Maybe he's all talk. But I knew that bill was going to cause a problem. I got to my apartment. This is where the lease part matters. It's my apartment. I've lived there for 4 years. Sarah moved in, but she never signed the lease. She Venmos me rent money. Legally, she's a guest. I didn't throw her stuff out the window. I'm not crazy. I grabbed her 2 suitcases. I packed her daily essentials, clothes, toiletries, her laptop, her chargers. I packed enough for a week. I put the suitcases in the hallway outside our apartment door. I texted her. "I'm locking the deadbolt. Your essentials are in the hall. You can come get the furniture and the rest of your clothes this weekend when you have a truck. Do not bang on the door or I will call the cops for a noise complaint. Go stay with Kyle." Then I turned off my phone, poured myself a drink, a cheap beer which tasted better than that $240 wine, and sat on my couch. When I turned my phone on the next morning, I had 40 missed calls. And of course, the social media storm. She posted a story on Instagram, a picture of her crying in an Uber, caption, "Abandoned at a restaurant on our anniversary. Some men are trash. Hashtag narcissist. Hashtag abuse." Her friends were blowing up my DMs, calling me broke, insecure, a loser. Apparently, Kyle didn't pay the whole bill. He made Sarah split it, so she maxed out her credit card. I didn't argue with the trolls. I did one thing. I posted a photo of the receipt to my close friend story, which included all our mutual friends. I circled Kyle's order, surf and turf, $85, Camus bottle, $240. Caption, "I invited my girlfriend to dinner. She invited a third wheel without asking. He ordered lobster and a $240 bottle of wine on my tab. I paid for my food and left them to their date. Boundaries aren't abuse." The narrative shifted instantly. People stopped calling me a jerk and started asking her why she brought a dude to our anniversary. The ending? It's been 3 weeks. Sarah came back with her dad to get the rest of her stuff. She tried to talk, tried to say I overreacted, that I humiliated her. I just told her, "You humiliated me the moment you let another man disrespect me at our table." She's staying with a friend now. Apparently, Kyle flew back to London the next day. He blocked her number when she asked him to Venmo her for the wine. So yeah, I'm single. My apartment is quiet. But my bank account is full, and I don't have to compete for attention in my own relationship. Moral of the story, if you are ever the third wheel on your own date, leave, and make sure your name is the only one on the lease.